149. We'll see Michigan again. Eric Grajales, the freshman, going up against the #1 seed, Frank Molinaro, two-time All-American for Penn State. Very important match. And this is how they got here. Molinaro shutting his opponents out. And Grajales a little closer, but nevertheless coming through as the #6 seed, and he's in the finals. Let's meet him.
Frank, great victory. Now, you've got someone in the finals you've wrestled before, you've beaten before. So what are your thoughts going into the finals and then beyond?
Basically just stay consistent and do what I'm doing, stick to the fundamentals and the game plan the coaches laid out for us, and I think I'm going to be successful and, you know, happy with myself.
Eric, great job. You're on a roll. You beat the #2 and 3 seeds already going into the finals. You're wrestling Molinaro. You've lost him before. What are you going to do differently to win this match to become a Big Ten champ?
I just got to wrestle smart. You know, he's a very strong athlete, and he's a great wrestler. So I got to go out there and I got to wrestle my match and not let him wrestle his match, just like any other day.
149 pounds. There's Eric Grajales, the redshirt freshman from Brandon, Florida, Brandon High School, and Frank Molinaro, a two-time All-American for Penn State, and he's one of the leaders. Here's your team standings. Iowa, 130 points. Penn State, 121. So Penn State with, this is their second of 5. Minnesota in there got a tight grip on 3rd place. But the championship still up for grabs.
Certainly is. 9 points is not that much, considering you get a win in the championship is 4 points. So you've got an opportunity. Penn State's really got an opportunity to close the gap here, and really counting on Frank Molinaro here. Here's a guy that could maybe even get a bonus point in this match. Comes in here as a heavy favorite. Grajales done a wonderful job to get to this point, the #6 seed, and you know, he's out there.
Keep him up there.
He's a good a great scrambler. You're not going to see him really hustle back to the center and show a lot of energy, and sometimes he looks tired just coming off the bus.
I think he kind of tries to lull you to sleep, whether he's doing that on purpose or not. But you're right. He doesn't give you that hey, I'm ready to wrestle kind of attitude.
Doesn't give you a real strong sense that he's ready to bring it. But you look at the scrambling he does, Lee, and it's solid gold.
You know, he's really come on at the end of the year. He's lost to Molinaro pretty convincingly twice. So, but now, you know, it looks like Molinaro's thrown a couple good shots at him and hasn't even come close to scoring, really.
Eric Grajales, we're talking about, the 6th seed, who's defeated the #3 and 2 seeds on his way to this championship bout. Molinaro, the #1 seed, expected to be here. Molinaro from Barnegat, New Jersey, Southern Regional High School. He's a two-time All-American, and he's thrown shutouts to get here.
Yeah, wait, he's impressed me with how he's been able to get his shots off.
There's Troy Letters along with Cody Sanderson. Troy Letters, of course, a big-time All-American wrestler for Lehigh, over working with Cale Sanderson and wanting to grow in the ranks as young coaches, and he is a fine one at that.
Nice high crotch attempt there by Molinaro. Good scramble. Molinaro looking to switch off to the double. If he can get that bottom arm underneath, he wasn't able to do it. He's able to scramble and get the 2. It's good work.
Grajales is kind of sort of funky there. I really didn't expect him to be such a funky kind of a wrestler.
Well, when guys get in on his legs, he's been showing an ability, and particularly at the edge of the mat, to be able to go ahead and come out on top. You know, similar to his teammate, who has the great gyro, as Joe McFarland said.
Yeah, you guys are on the same page there. You called it, Joe. Molinaro out in front 2-0 over Grajales. Molinaro, the #1 seed. He's really been a good leader for Penn State. He precedes the Cale Sanderson era, and he melded in very nicely with this team, giving Sanderson that upperclassman leadership.
And here's a reshot. You see guys trying to get the bottom arm underneath to get the double leg. Wasn't able to do it on the roll through attempt, but he's able to keep his belt buckle to the mat, keep his head up, his hips down, and again, the guy who has his head up won the scramble.
2-0. Frank Molinaro out in front. Already approaching 1 minute. He's close to 50 seconds now of riding time advantage. Breaking down Eric Grajales. In Brandon, Florida, Brandon High School, quite a program, high school program in the state of Florida.
working hard in the top position. A couple-time All-American, Molinaro.
Yeah, he's tough. He's strong. He's got a strong upper body, strong core, strong legs. Grajales is getting grinded on down there. It hurts.
And up from Florida, there's Cesar and Leslie Grajales, the parents of Eric Grajales.
1:16 riding time.
You look a little tense, as I would be if that was my son.
It's understandable.
And proud at the same time, only a freshman, Eric Grajales, in the championships against a man, Frank Molinaro, who's beaten him twice this year, 6-2 and 8-3. Right now, out in front 2-0. Molinaro trying to come out. He's got 1:05 riding time left.
Grajales shows some poise in certain situations. You know, he looks like that last situation there. He looked pretty comfortable.
Yeah, he's pretty skilled. I think that, you know, if you get beyond, it takes a long time for him to get back to the center of the mat. He looks a little bit tired out there, but beyond that, when you take a look at the scrambles he puts forth, I mean, he really does some good fighting out there at times.
And see, this situation here, I mean, there's nothing you can do but just hang on. So,
yeah,
warning.
See, I don't agree with that call. What else can you do there?
Well, that's just good. I think good poise on Molinaro's part. When get a guy trying to ride you below the waist like that, and even below the knee, you know, what do? You just go out there and try to make him look bad.
And that's what he did.
Yeah, so you get the call that way. So really get a new start. And you see Grajales coming up a little higher, but that's giving Molinaro an opportunity to go ahead and.
Great flow of action there. Switch, re-switch, just a good scrambling. Grajales has impressed me here with his knowledge and ability to really wrestle hard against a guy who's beaten him a couple times.
Well, you can see when he has a lead and he does those things, he can keep the lead. Stays in the top position.
The guy's walking back. I love this. He's just sauntering back, taking his time.
Yeah, good look at Frank Molinaro there, and Eric Grajales comes on top. Ben Miller, the head official, blows the whistle.
Now, Lee, were you the type of guy to like to run back the center of the mat?
I wasn't. I was in between the two. You know, I wasn't running back, but I wasn't taking that much time.
All I know is that guys weren't necessarily running back to the center to get some more of what you had to offer.
Oh. Penn State's Frank Molinaro out in front 3-0 now with that escape. Grajales getting rid of the riding time advantage. A minute left in the second period.
Grajales is crafty. You know, he's got something running through his mind. I mean, he's planning on trying to win this.
He looks crafty.
Well, Molinaro's slowed down his attacks a little bit, and if he would just march forward right here, keep marching forward, much like we saw in the long match at 133, he'd be able to get the stall call.
And I think that'd be important here because
Molinaro's got to hustle back to center.
Cesar and Leslie Grajales, they know they're in a hole. Their son's in a hole right here, 3-0.
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Molinaro does push the pace most of the time when he's wrestling. He's the stalker in most of his matches, and the crafty one, Eric Grajales.
Well, he's wrestled Grajales before, so he felt when you take a decent shot on him here, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get it. He is holding a pretty good lead right now.
Yeah, he is. If Grajales doesn't change the pace.
And we talked about the team scoring here. You get first place, you get 16. So you see the difference between 16 and 12 is 4. That's why the winner of this, they've already got their second place points. The winner will get an extra 4 points. And if they have a major decision, tech fall or pin, you get the bonus points between 1 and 2. So that's what's got Penn State looking pretty good right here. If they win this, they're within 4 or 5 points of the lead with 3 more finals.
Well, we talk about that ace in the hole as far as championship wrestling. You're down by 3. Riding time's not a factor. What's your big move that you're going to go ahead and try to catch a pretty decent wrestler in Molinaro? He's got one. Can he press the action enough to have Molinaro make a mistake and put him on his back?
you know, I was impressed with that last scramble. I mean, Molinaro shot a great shot. Grajales really countered tough. And not only just countered, he countered offensively. He was trying to score off that counter.
Frank Molinaro has been out in front the entire match. He's been in control. There's his dad, Frank. Feeling pretty good about the chance for his son to get his first Big Ten championship.
There's a decent high crotch shot. Again, Grajales.
Listen to that grunt there.
He's got the
determination.
I'm surprised they're letting this go, because typically they'll stop it right away when you get up like that, you know.
He had the big lift, but Grajales was able to go ahead and stay with it. Straight on go-to shot.
He's picking up the pace, which is great.
Yeah.
Very talented wrestler, Eric Grajales.
You know, he really is. He really is.
He knows what he's looking for. Frank Molinaro does a great job.
Great scramble.
30 seconds.
Yep. Grajales comes right back up, gets his head up in the scramble position. They're going to get off the mat.
Good no call. Good no call.
23 seconds left in this third period. Molinaro for Penn State out in front 3-0. There's no riding time advantage, so Grajales going to need more than a takedown to take this into overtime or win this match. Molinaro, this is big for Penn State. It'll be 2 in a row, 2 for 2, and then the next match will be a matchup head-to-head with Iowa at 157 between Taylor and St. John.
You know, if Grajales were to push the pace like this earlier on, you know, I think he'd be in a position to probably, you know, come closer or win the match.
Not a point scored against Frank Molinaro in this Big Ten championship. He throws 3 shutouts in his 3-0 performance. He's the champion. Frank Molinaro from Penn State, their second Big Ten champion of the day. The junior, 2-time All-American, is hot as he heads into the NCAA championships in a couple of weeks. A good look at Frank Molinaro, making his dad, Frank, happy, and he's going to go to Jim Gibbons right now.
Thanks, Tim. I'm with Frank Molinaro, and tell you what, you're a leader on this team. You put your team in a chance to be able to try to win this championship. How do you feel about your win?
Wrestled a little tight. Did the things I'm supposed to do, though. I hand fought well. Stayed in position. Could score more points, but hey, a win's a win. I'll smile for a second, win a national championship.
All right, well, Grajales he's tough. He's got some skills there at some of those scramble positions.
Yeah, they got, you know, it's the 3rd time I wrestled him. So it's getting a little closer, but I got to score more points, and it's good, though. This will get me ready for next weekend.
All right, well, look forward to having you cheer the rest of your teammates on. Good job, Frank.
Thanks.
Here's your champion, and this is how he got his first takedown, Frank Molinaro, and he goes on to a 3-0 shutout over Eric Grajales. And next will be 157, where Penn State and Iowa go head-to-head. David Taylor, the undefeated freshman, up against another freshman, fantastic Iowa Hawkeye, Derek St. John. So we'll be back with Taylor and St. John after this.